This is CW here, and back again with my second attempt of prediction blog. And cannot believe that we are at the season finale of Death Battle. And it's gonna be a crazy ride of the year with predictions and all, and reactions. And out of my first attempt was sadly a failure. It was a lesson learned, as my second attempt is going to be the long anticipated of my prediction on the season finale: Ash Ketchum versus Yugi Moto, Pokemon versus Yu-Gi-Oh. And to tell you the truth, this is a very complex fight. We're talking about like Hulk versus Godzilla and like Dante versus Clive, like close, as this fight can go either way. And uh, even though I'm going to keep originally, I want to like try to do this an hour long, but similar my second take on Ruby Fizz manga, uh, I'm going to basically try to keep this as short as possible in a brief summary, as this fight can go either way. And I really honestly wish that this ends in a tie, as these two would like change the media and entertainment forever by like popularizing trading cards and making their show so popular that influence everyone worldwide, whether you want to catch them all or believe in Heart of the Cards. So without further ado, let's just get into how I predict this fight will go. And like I said, I want this to be a tie and all, but it can really go down either way. And out of all, I decided to pick five main categories to decide which how this fight can go down, as you can see here. So my main five categories that would decide the overall winner is strength, abilities, companions, equipment, and dueling. All five related to basically how each how Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh has been presented over the years, and how overall their main games are played, and how both Yugi and Ash has became like icons by these categories. So let's start off with strength, since that's going to be the main one. And now you're asking, why not speed and like stats overall? Well, at the end of the day, these two are like very tied in speed and durability, as both have surprisingly at full. While originally they would be like mediocre, as you can see here, Ash with Wall, but at full, when you like go down their lures and all, and like at full potential, they can get into the multiverse level, which is crazy. And Yugi, I actually thought this would be a downgrade for him, as you can see here, he human the street, but once again, once you compare like the whole series as a whole and like how the games are played with comparing their games and like their series, like once again they're multiversal as well. So let's start with Ash, because this one was interesting. So apparently, as you know, Ash originally started out normal kid, as like just like being very funny when like surviving shocks from Pikachu to getting burnt alive through his Charizard, which is funny. But when you compare like over the movies and all, it is crazy. Especially near the end, it is crazy how they compare. So why is Ash in a multiversal level? Well, apparently because near the of all the alongside Pikachu and all has fought and uh, aided his gods and allies of the Pokemon verse. So first one is him being able to in the semifinals and to be a champion and all, defeated the Black and White champion Cathentha. I can't pronounce her name, but the main Pokemon champion of the Black and White series. And apparently, you're asking, why is she considered multiversal? Well, in the anime as well as the games, she did her mech chop ended up canceling out Pika, spatial bound. Now you're asking who's Pika? Well, Pika is one of the three gods who watches over time and space. Pika especially is, as you can see, a water type in dragon and the Shadow's creation tier, who is the god of space, Pharaoh Rally. And Kalitha's main champion, God Chop, canceled out the spiritual his Poc. I can't pronounce the names, but the Pokemon Space Spiritual Rend, which is basically stated in the Pokemon database and all, an attack that uh spans space and all. So yeah, and then she defeated him and then fought Leon in the finals, who with Charizard and all. And yeah, and not only that, it's just like this is tough to decide, as you thought Yugi would be overmatched and all, but again, he sails it mostly first so as like near the end of GX, and it's including scales to Jaden Yuki and Yusei from 5Ds, who ended up fighting cards and all that spans time and space. And especially for Jaden, ended up fused near the end of like season 3 and all, uh, tanked the super conversation when he fused with his original Pokemon Ubel, which was stated that that card alone was going to, as you can see here, destroy the 12 universes as one. And was stated here to be working quantum theory about parallel world, which we would get later on in Arc V. So yeah, strength couldn't go either way, and like with the parallel worlds and all, quantum theory, you ended up like this could go either way. But at the end of the day, I decided to go with Ash when it came to strength and all, because for Yugi, especially his fight with Jaden, which even Yubel stated that like, and Yugi himself to like be on par with like power and like being the toughest. The problem with Pokemon when you compare its multiverse and all is that uh, Ash has kept seeing Os is like when you compare their god Arceus, who in like the lore of Pokemon, which is stated to be like a multiverse infinite, which like similar to Marvel and DC with their infinite universes, and Pokemon basically has the same thing. And while Ash has not, nor any of the Pokemon have seen Arceus and aided him, they've not shown the power. I only barely decided to do it for two main reasons. The first thing is, while Pokemon universe has confirmed to be infinite and all, especially with Canthetha fighting Pokemon legendaries like Uther, Yu-Gi-Oh has not confirmed like those having that infinite universe, so it can be limited. And the second main reason is Ash giving scaling to other Pokemon champions, just as Red and all, and like the player in the game, with like them able to catch Arceus in the game. It is a little uh biased and all, but like with the Pokemon lore and all the mangas and all, it's, even if you exclude like the Arceus statement, the cosmology of like Pokemon seems to be vastly larger, barely, than to compare to Yu-Gi-Oh and all. And even though that Yu-Gi-Oh has similar gods that could do the same thing, but not in that raw power of like infinite. So I'm going to give the edge barely to Ashen's strength. Now let's just go into abilities. Abilities is was crazy because like you think that Ash would able didn't have enough, but thankfully for his like 25 or 30 year lore, apparently he got a lot, as he has acrobatics sealing with the Pokemon and summoning, has is a high genius as he like broke a supercomputer and all, but uh, also has aura hearing, basically uses aura to like sense people, heighten senses, heal people. But be careful as he take a flight. Has interacted with ghosts, so he can attack ghosts, and can has influence, can has a good has the talk Jitsu from Naruto, like has some good communication, and can use his items like with Mega Evolution and like Z moves to like increase power and all with Pokemon. Now you're saying so comparing to just the ability Ash can do, what can Yugi do? Ugh. Well, this one automatically goes to Yugi, and you're going to see why. Because when you compare their powers and abilities, it is made simple but gets very one-sided. As Yugi has shown to power to not only peak human ability, but also has uh, can split into go into back and forth between Yugi and uh, Yamen or Atom, uh, can go back and forth between one mind and all. Can attack the soul of a person. Has extreme luck, like the heart of the cards. It's no joke. For those who play Yu-Gi-Oh, like that is a million and one thing a pair. Can seal people, actually has magic, can mind control, can basically attack people's minds with penalty. Can cast out penalty games, can that they can basically allow to attack the mind and soul. Like I said, skilled strategist, and can basically summon, light, minute, and resurrect. In the manga, it gets more crazy as again has the same thing but goes into more detail about his abilities, which gets more insane as he can cast illusions to those that are attacking him, can basically uh like manipulate emotions by the thing, can see, has clairvoyance that can allow him to see, uh allows the wielder to find what he needs, uh and like has an infinite when trying to connect his soul and all, has like an infinite maze that can trap the user. So as you can see here, trying to find Yugi, trying to find Joey in the caves and all. And as you can see, can seal people in the puzzles. And not only that, but can summon monster. This one was like Baraka doing a clit side doing, but as you can see here, penalty games, he's like punishing them through their emotions, and like yeah, it is brutal, especially what he did with like Seto Kaiba twice. He like turned him into a card. It is crazy. Yep, is him turning into a card, and then we go him Mokuba who lost, thinking he's trapped, and then this is from like the show almost that he basically just, like broke him into pieces, soul into pieces, and rebuilt him. Like yeah, this is going a win movie, and this is like explaining how. And the fact is that the shadow games basically are so real that monsters and uh, the user duelist can have like the same pain and death and all. So yeah, the like when it comes to abilities, like Yugi has so much of hexes that he can use to not only against Ash but also his Pokemon through it. That allows him to protect himself. Then all. So, but let's talk about companions. Companions is was a interesting one. As you and I'm just going to stay here and all because of like of all. No, I meant to. So when you compare it to the companions and all, I decided to, as you know, with Ash, like through his decades, he went through a lot. You have his iconic Pikachu, which is powerful and fought one of the legendaries, defeated one. Uh, you have Butterfree, Squirtle, Charizard, Bulbasaur, uh, Bayleaf, Knocked Owl, Heracross, Turtoseptoid, Inferno Ape, Ghibli, Oswald. I love Oswald, Sneevee, Greninja. That became like one of his trump cards. Dragonite, Incineroar, like I said, Warlet, Lucario, and so much more. And while you and I have to give it to Ash in the day with like his companions because Yugi is more complex because like when I think of his like companions, I think of like his main three: Dark Magician, uh, Adam, or Yama Yugi, and like the Dark Magician girl, and finally Cypher the Dragon. Like those four of his companions are good and all, but sadly, the reason why I went with companions overall is that when you compare and all, like the Pokemons by themselves can do what they want and like their movesets by themselves, but the problem is that with uh, Yugi's companions, it's that they're very limited to their abilities and require certain things. Like the cards alone by themselves are good and all, but it also the main problem is that you have the main problem is that you like Yugi's deck, like you need specific cards for them to do anything. Like Cypher the Dragon is powerful, but again it relies on his user and how many cards they get to make it more powerful. Like too busy on like the main gameplay of like Yu-Gi-Oh, relying a lot on their cards. That takes longer to like set up and all. Meanwhile, Ash can like basically summon them out and just command them to attack, which he can be in sync with, which both of them being tied in speed and comparing to their Pokemon, like fighting gods in all time and space, they end up being immeasurable. And Yugi, the same thing as he fought gods of time and space, and compared to Yusei and like Jaden, who like uh, kept up with the Neos, but have outraced black holes and all. And again, fought gods similar time and space. So good. So again, goes you. When it's equipment, that's a different story. As we get into the card section, which I just wanted to show you real quick, all the Yu-Gi-Oh cards so far. So let's just start with Yugi, Silent Magician. As you can see here, Silent Magician, she can has be supple summon and all, but also gains increase 500 points and all for each and all. Special summon. For Gremlin, she can banish one card from your get face up and then add it to your hand, which makes it seem simple and all. So let's just type in Dark Magician from the one of the official Yu-Gi-Oh base of how much cards they have. So as you can see here, granted, there's a Dark Magician code. They have multiple various versions of Dark Magician code. Magician Karibo, Fusion Summon, and yeah, and Dark Mirror Show. Let's just get this out of the way that there's a reason why when it came to equipment, I decided to go with Yugi. And as you can see here, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links for like since launch and all. And dude, it just when it came to it, it has so many counters. Dark Paladin, all of Ash's monsters would be a disadvantage for him as a Dark Paladin when fusion with Dark Magician and all increases 500 points for every dragon monster type there is. So like Charizard, Dragonite, like those. Oh, see, Mega Evolutions, Defusion basically can uh cancel out fusion materials of the monster and return them to the site. Special summons of cards and all, Dark Magician and all have uh can be summoned, have fusions and all. And yeah, I this is the reason why automatically went with Yugi on this. Is that basically like so many cards and like monsters that Yugi can special summon and like their abilities to cancel out or just flat out uh defend himself. Whether if like let's say Ash decides to assault him and all, well there's mirror like with hands, well there's mirror force, where it basically can destroy all monsters on the field. Oh, Pikachu has like his 1 billion bolt, well sort of revealing light, which apparently can protect himself for like 3 turns being immutable, and you have to like destroy the card in order to work. And that like that alone and is not a thing, as you see with we'll get to like his main one later, but like all of these cards that uh you can pause and see of the monsters by themselves, even though with like the special effects and all, can be amped up or protected by the magic and trap card. That's just they're just too much that uh, Ash can do. And again, Ash had Yugi just has better offense and defense of cards and abilities from the monsters themselves to protect himself. For example, like Magic Cylinder can capture a monster's attack and redirect it back. So like Thunderbolt can do can counter it and like force damage back at them. Magic Cylinder block an opponent's attack and summon like uh, a spellcaster, which is like Dark Magician and all. And like Time Seal, the opponent skips the next draw phase. Just like too much offense and defense to like banish monsters, send them to the graveyard, spectral summon them, or like uh, attack like the opponent directly. It's just like and Pokemon are good and all, but they just are overwhelmed like this. This is not even talking about the fusion, the other cards that is not official in Yugi's deck, like the ritual monsters. As you can see, the Blackluster Soldier, the XZY monsters and all, and like the guard cards themselves. And yes, while Pikachu and all can easily face them and all, but again, with like being amped with like the card effects and all, it would still be a challenge with like facing 3 of them at the same time. And then, but the main equipment that uh, Ash will have to face is the Millennium Puzzle, like the spirit of the Pharaoh, as Yugi as well, Yugi has like perfect offense and defense on it, as well as casting illusions, can literally redirect souls and all. As you can see here, he Bakia and Pyramid would swap spirits and all, uh, and and then like and then solving the project itself had high intelligence. Both of them are tied with like experience and intelligence, and both of them are very smart. With Yugi being a champion duelist multiple times and solving you the puzzle, so the Millennium Puzzle, which even a supercomputer that took minutes to complete, where while the supercomputer took like made by Kaiba made 6 hours long. And then that's at the end of the day. But the biggest one is like the having the power to summon monsters, because what you say, wait a minute, they're digital now, so Yugi and them can easily face. Well, no, because the Millennium Puzzle uh, basically uh, is supernatural, and as you can see here, when he's solving it all, Yugi accidentally summoned monsters in his room before the Pharaoh ended up banishing them before he can attack and made them real. Like the monsters are like poltergeists from the cards and all, and as you can see here, they come real before the puzzle banishes them. And Jump Force can prove this. That mediocre fighting game, Jump Force, can prove this as Dark Magician and Magician go fight alongside with Yugi. But the point is that when it comes to equipment, is that even though the like Yugi's companions lack it like by themselves, the main equipment like the dual discs and all the cards and all that basically made up for Yugi taking the eventing equipment because while Ash has like refi and all, like Yugi's supernatural abilities and the like the most like the thousands of like cards, even from without the show from the main trading card series, has developed over the 20 or 30 years as well that in like that stacked up Dark Magician and all. It just was too overwhelming and all. And the final category was one that I thought of overall and was the main reason why these two are legendary. Dueling. They're the when they came to battle, when you think of like duelists or like the trainer, like these two came out because they're like considered the best of the best. Able to the point that they were able to take down champions of other highly experienced Pokemon trainers and duelists like Sato Kaiba and all, and even to the point that they fought gods who are 1,000 years old in their own side and all. But at the end of the day, this one was the final category that can go either way. And I decided this one can go either way. And at the end of the day, I had to go with Yugi because there is Ash is without a doubt amazing strategist and all. And like able to had 25 years of decades of like fighting uh the gods of legendaries Pokemons and like fighting champions and like rivals like Gary Oak, not Gary and Oak, and making Alex Misty. But there's a reason why Yugi is considered the king of games and all. And that's because of him like having a higher win streak than Ash. Ash literally took 25 years to finally become a champion and like 24 to become a runner up. That is impressive and all, but that took way too long. Meanwhile, Yugi from the start defeated Seto Kaiba, one of the greatest duelists in the world, and then went on to stack his streak to defeat Pegasus to win the Royal Kingdom tournament, uh, beat Seto Kaiba again, as well as Merrick to win the his personal tournament and all, and then fought other beings and all, and then not only that, but near the end of the series, Yugi himself fought Adam and ended up defeating him, the King of Games, who was who basically was the pharaoh who created I think created Yu-Gi-Oh itself. That alone is much more of an impressive feat, and Adam considered him as the King of Games, Yugi, just himself, not the pharaoh. And Ash is an impressive, and I think both of them will respect each other and honor them. But like Yugi, at the end of the day, is just way better when it better to it. And not only that, like his luck and like changing fate when he is about to lose much more than Ash can. That those factors that you don't think about, you had to think about in the end. So and the final category goes to Yugi. So let me just all right, we are back, and one thing I will say that this again is the second part. It's a little bit longer, 30 minutes, but you get the picture. But as we can compare with the results and all, this fight is very close and can go either way. With Ash Ketchum, as you can see here, with his versatile companions being slightly stronger because of his infinity multiverse and like faster method to battle, like you he could ideally overpower and like aggressively overwhelm Yugi, but when you compare like not just not just power alone, but and like the companions, but also the how the games them like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh themselves, the games are played and all, and how you follow their rule set, it leans more heavily towards Yugi and when it comes in his world building, because even though that both of them has no advantage when it came to speed for being faster than light at, at their best to like immeasurable with infinity and all to experience fighting gods and many duelists and trainers and it having like the same set of skills of being experienced and sometimes very lucky duelists. Yugi had a more uh, advantages overall that leans me going towards him. Me and my brother went with Yugi right away because of our knowledge and all and our love. And again, we love Ash and all, but it just we consider him overall as the better duelist, as one of the main reasons of him being able to win, as having a better win streak and literally called the king of games. And not only that, that backs up with his many hexes and many ways to win, whether it is attacking Ash's soul, sending him to the Shadow Realm and playing his penalty games, or just flat out overwhelming his Pokemon and all with his cards and more powerful deck and the Millennium Puzzle. Matter of fact, if Ash tries to attack his mind and all with Greninja and all, he can easily be trapped in like the puzzle and all, and be sealed. Like Yugi had it more ways of winning, and despite being weaker and having a more troublesome, uh, being longer setup in like the main game. Trust me, I play Yu-Gi-Oh. Like those games can it can take. It may sound simple, but just playing the original version of Duel Monsters can take like minutes or 10, 20 minutes more to like do a winner and all. Where Pokemon is real easier as you just command them to attack and all. It just easier. And having again a better win ratio and like luck and all to like actually win his like impossible games and all against like other professional champion duelists like Pegasus, Merrick, Seto Kaiba, Kura, the list goes on. And Ash, with his matching against Brock, Misty, Cathetha, Gary, and Leon, I believe his name is, and like other champions, like both of them do. But when you again compare and contrast, the outcome is clear. And again, I want to see overall a tie as these two are very loved. I love them. I respect them, and I can see both of them like this is a very close matchup that it could ideally could end up actually being very close where both of them are tied in categories like equipment, companions, and all. and like it will come down to like power and like who's the better duelist. But again, when you compare the details and how their abilities work, especially the game, like how the main games of the how the main gameplay of the monsters and all, it leads heavily towards Yugi because of having better offense and defense to not just his monsters and his cards, but also to himself, the user, thanks to the Millennium Puzzle to protect him from like Ash's aggressive onslaught. And even though Ash can have like items and all, he has no with and like he and Pikachu and like his opinions alone has no counters to like uh Yugi's supernatural magical attacks of the mind and soul. In matter of fact, uh Yugi can even attack his own Pokemon cards until his own Pokemons and like send them to the shadow games and all, just for Ash to be by himself. Because if once Ash is like by himself and all, it's over because Yugi has many ways to end the game, whether it be Slifer, the Shadow Realm, again attacking Ash's mind and soul. Like there's just too much, and I want. Like I said, this one is a very good matchup, and this was definitely worthy of the 200th episode with what that Ruby vs. Maka ideally took and all. And I hope this fight, if done right, this is going to be like one of the top 5 fights of the year. If done right, could be the best Death Battle episode they've done, like up there with Bowser vs. Eggman and all. But yeah, that's about it, and I don't know what else to say. As you can see here, my mind is set on Yugi winning because despite his flaws and disadvantages, he has like the counters he needs to overwhelm Ash, not faster but more endurancely, and can set up way more methods ahead than Ash can and all. But that's about it with this episode. Like I said, I waited for a week to do my research and all, even though it was pretty straightforward. But I still had to clear my mindset and all, and like double check stuff, like the decks, especially like the Pokemon and like the deck, like Yu-Gi-Oh decks, like those. Man, it is crazy how much they have for a year. But that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this episode, especially with this actually having audio this time, unlike Ruby vs. Maka. Like I said, I am hoping to improve and all. So give me your thoughts and your questions, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. So thank you so much for watching. Cannot wait until Ash for Yugi comes out, as I'll do a reaction of that, and then after that, I'll do my top list of the whole season as a whole for the like the best and worst episodes of this season. As like this is up there, definitely up there as like one of the best seasons yet. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy and stay awesome.